take a stand, carving dreams from days gone by. Stunt hangar planes that touch the sky, control lines tight, the engine hums, crafting art where passion drums. Stunt hangar, flying high, old world craft beneath the sky.
Today we're visiting with Bob Gieseke in his home in Dallas, Texas. Actually, it's Irving, Texas, I believe.
Right.
Bob, welcome to Stunt Flyer Video Magazine.
Thank you, Bob.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it really has. Bob is commonly referred to as the Bear. And he got that nickname, where was that?
Billy Warwich gave me that in Belgium in 1970.
How'd that come about?
We had rooms next to each other. The walls were very thin, and he was commenting on the noises I was making during the night.
Sound like an old bear in there, huh?
Right.
And it's stuck. And you've been the bear to us ever since. Bob has won the national championship crown in this country 5 times, and the Walker Trophy 5 times. And he's also won the World Aerobatic Championship and the FAI World Championships in 1974 in Czechoslovakia.
Right.
Radek Kravole?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. Something
Close
like
enough.
that. I'm sure Bob Gieseke would correct that pronunciation.
Doc's got it down real good.
Bob, how did you get started in model airplane flying?
My dad had interest in model airplanes, and he'd take me out and we'd watch the old, what they call now old-time pre-flight. And then they converted some of those to control line. And I saw that, and it lit the fire. That was it. I was gone.
So what year was that?
1940, I guess.
Wow.
Somewhere back in there.
So you've been doing this quite a long time.
When I was 10 years old, I flew an airplane for the first time. That was 1942.
Oh my goodness, that's a long haul. And you began flying competition aerobatics in what year?
Local levels in 1960, 1959 and 60, just local contests.
And how did you come about your interest in aerobatics?
That just happened. I at first started flying. I was flying combat, rat race, and stunt. And stunt just showed more challenge to me than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
So I took off. I think it was about 62 or 63 that I just went totally dedicated to stunt.
Well, you sure did. And you won your first national championship crown in 1966?
Right.
And then again in 68.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, you made back-to-back wins in 74 and 75.
Right.
And then one more time in 1979.
Right.
And since then, you remained competitive. I know you dropped out for a while.
Yeah, various things happened, but those were the good years.
Well, it seems to me, looking at this airplane here, that the good years aren't over, though.
Well, it'd be nice, you know, nice to think that. Well, you got to keep thinking positive all the time, anyway.
Yeah,
And,
like competition, you sure do. You've been famous for taking a very famous design, George Aldrich's basic Nobler design, and then custom fitting it to suit your needs. You want to go over a little bit about what changes you made and when you started flying stock Noblers and what you decided to change and why?
Well, I think I started flying the Nobler, I think it was around 61. And I built probably 4 or 5 kit Noblers. And then I decided one day the air is too thin down here.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a thicker wing. So we built thicker wings, and that seemed to work very well. And then we started playing with flap sizes, trying to, I thought maybe it had a little bit too much flap. So we cut down the flap sizes, and that was the basic change on the 35 size airplane.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you made some modifications to the thickness of the wing.
Right. Basically what I did back then was put a little bit fatter rib in there and sheet it with 3/32 balsa.
And a little bit fatter. That was technically arrived at, I know. What was it? What was the process?
A fat ballpoint pen traced around the kit rib. It worked.
Did the trick, huh? You've also been noted for years for your light building techniques. Most of your airplanes are fairly light. I know back in the times when you flew the Foxes, they really had to be light. And you use, I know, Japanese tissue to cover your airplanes.
Right.
Yeah. Any other building techniques that you developed along the way you might care to expound on?
Back in the 35 days, it was Jap tissue, and which does not require much dope to fill. 2 or 3 coats and you've got a shine and a luster and you're ready to go. Dope, there's so much dope on these airplanes that I think that's our enemy. And also, I had the advantage of MAL Hobby Shop here in Irving getting extremely light, good wood.
And MAL stands for Model Aircraft Laboratories, I believe?
Right.
A fellow named Ed
C.
Ed C.
He's cut so much wood for me.
I met him this afternoon for the first time, and about all he can talk about is Bob Gieseke and the fact that he comes there and buys wood, and he's very proud of having you in the town here.
He has helped me tremendously, supplying the wood that I needed.
Well, Bob, in 1968, when you won your first, excuse me, 66, when you won your first championship, can you tell us a little bit about that year?
Yeah, that was a good year. That was, I must say, somewhat of a surprise to me. I went more or less to see how I would stack up. And I had a good airplane that year. And my brother, Don, worked with me. He was my coach, my pit man, my everything. And we got lucky that year and we won.
I think there was a little more than luck involved because, again, in '68 you repeated that. And what was the story that time?
I had a real good airplane in '68. A lot of practice, and we just got back from the World Championships. And that was...
Where was the World Championships held at?
Helsinki.
And how'd you do that year?
I ended up 3rd over there. That's the year God reached down and said, "Thou shalt not win." He sent me some terrible wind from my last flight, from all directions at the same time. Up to that point, I was maybe going to win that one, but no.
And what was your next appearance at the World Championships?
70.
1970.
Yeah. Billy won that one. I came in 2nd, just a couple points behind him. And Jerry Phelps, I think was 4th that year.
That was a good team.
Well, that was a pretty strong team.
And you brought home the team trophy that year.
Every year I went over, we brought home the team trophy.
Wow, that's amazing. And you won again in '72?
No, you're talking about your World? No, in '72 was in Helsinki, I believe. I don't remember what I got there, 2nd or 3rd. And then I won in '74 in Czechoslovakia.
In Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
And there's some very famous photos. Of course, you're very famous for smoking a pipe while flying. That's probably your most distinguishing characteristic. When most people think of Bob Gieseke, aside from the Red Nobler, it's the fact that you smoke a pipe. Why do you do that?
A pipe?
Yeah.
So I know where to do the wing over.
You can see the wind, huh?
I can see the wind. I come up where the pipe tells me, that's where I break the first corner on the wing over. And I use that to check the wind all the way through the flight.
Wow. So Compostela uses a bottle filled with talcum powder. And
right. Various people do different things.
Yeah. But that was actually something you developed to help your flying, rather than just to calm your nerves while flying.
Oh, yeah. I fly lots of times without a pipe. But when it's a serious flight, I feel much better knowing exactly where I want to hit that wind.
Well, I know in '74, there's a very famous photo of you breaking up your pipe and burying it in the center of the circle.
Right.
In the center of the stunt circle. What was that all about?
I was going to quit.
Obviously you haven't.
Right. I still do enjoy the pipe. And like I say, even between maneuvers, I'm checking the wind. I know which way it's swapping, how rapid the variations are, and it helps you a little bit.
Of course, these days, now you fly with 2 pipes.
Right. Thanks to you.
You've developed over the years the Nobler into an airplane now you're calling the Bear, which has very much Gieseke nobler aesthetics to it, but it's a much larger airplane now, and it has many more innovations. Twin rudders, and of course you're flying now with the pipe. I know you flew the SD-60 for a while.
Right. That's when the 35 size nobler got blown up, was for the 60. And what I did was try to build an airplane that was 46 size and put a 60 in it. So I wanted to be overpowered.
How'd that work out?
Okay, no, it didn't. But I had to get the experience to learn. I think maybe it would have worked a lot better if I'd have had some of the good running 60s that I hear today. My 60s ran okay, but they certainly weren't as good as some of the 60s you hear running today.
And then what year was it that you finally switched to the pipe power?
I don't know, when was it, Bob? Well, you got me on the pipe. This was on 30. We went back to 32s with the pipe. We started on that. And we had so many problems with the connections, manifolds, and so forth. Every once in a while we'd get a really good run, and then we'd lose it.
It was a real learning curve, wasn't it?
Oh man, it was a learning curve.
Of course, then the 40s came out, the OS 40s and the OPS 40s and so forth.
The minute we got our hands on an engine with rear exhaust and a manifold that we could buy, it worked.
And now, more recently, I know you switched over to the Precision Aero 40s and then the 51, and now, of course, the brand new 61. And you're not real happy with the 61, are you?
I just love it. Actually, I was kind of thinking about quitting and running a 46, and then I got hold of the 51 and said, whoa, you can't quit yet, this is great. And then Randy comes along and makes another great one that's even greater. So yeah, it's a real challenge. It's a lot of fun.
What do you specifically like about the pipe power?
I like the more or less the same speed that you gain. You don't get as much variation in your speed of the pattern, particularly when the wind's blowing. You get you get more power, but it keeps running steadily. We can turn these a little bit larger props, lower pitch props. The pattern's a lot more, should I say, a lot more fun. Well,
I know it's been showing in your scores too, because you're real competitive again all of a sudden.
Yeah. As soon as I got well, the 51, that was the big move. When I got that running. I don't run the pipe run the engine quite as hard as some people do on the pipe. I like to be just a tad slower, maybe give myself a little more time to think. And that's what I like about the 61, because you can even slow down from the 51.
Well, I feel the same way. I generally run mine a little slower too than most people do, and I like the feeling of the 2/4 brake.
Right. Now, when the wind comes up, I'll be honest with you, normally before the pipe, we'd have gone home. Now we stay out there. We keep on flying.
It's pushed the wind back a few miles an hour, hasn't it?
Quite a few.
There's another innovation here on your airplane. Other people have used it from time to time, but I know that you don't put anything on your airplane you don't believe works. You've made very, very few dramatic modifications over the years, but one of them has been this twin rudder configuration we're seeing here on the Bear. What does that give you, and how did that come about?
I came back. Remember Bob Gieseke's Olympics with the twin rudders?
Sure.
I remember those things flying like they were on rails. And I always wondered about it. And actually, when I was flying the first big piped airplane, I just put them on there one day and went flying to see what happened. And Dick Byron just happened to drive up, and he got out of his car without even seeing the airplane up close. He says, "What'd you do to that airplane to make it turn?" And I said, that's all I did was put those on, Dick. And I believe it helps. It keeps the air on the stab in the elevator.
You've noticed a real difference.
Oh yeah, I know it's a real difference.
Well, I know my new Genesis has got them on it, that's for sure.
To prove it, I took them on and off.
And you could notice a real difference.
Definitely.
Well, I know your new airplane you're working on out in the workshop has got them on it too.
Yeah.
And another thing you've gone to recently is this 2/10-ounce carbon veil to strengthen your airplanes. I know you're using it all over the airplane now. Most people have been using it just on fuselages. You've actually covered the whole wing with it, and then you cover just the open bay area with Japanese tissue.
Right.
What's the thought there?
Mainly, it's the lightest way to finish out an airplane, I think. Over your smooth wood areas like here on the fuselage, I just put one coat on. Maybe one coat of carbon fiber, one layer of carbon fiber, and 2 coats of clear dope, and sand it. And what you're doing is you're leaving your carbon down in the low spots. You're getting a lot of filling.
And that won't drop in then, will it?
No. And you gain a little bit of strength. Now, if you sand carbon fiber, you lose the strength of the carbon fiber. So areas like in here and where I want strength, I sand the first one, then I put another layer on top. And barely sand it.
And of course, it's very important to note too that you have to put the carbon fiber completely through the center section of the wing. Yeah.
Absolutely. From here to here, it's double.
Okay.
It's double covered.
It's no good just to cover one part of the wing and then.
Right. Right. Top and bottom.
Right.
And this airplane, the molding here is 1/16. So in some places up around the front, there's a double covering of carbon, so people don't stick their fingers through it. You actually are molding these blocks out of a 1/16, where you used to use a solid block, hollow it, and shape it.
Yeah, and using 1/16, and that shows exactly how strong this carbon fiber is, because you can get away with, and it's really, really rigid. I mean, I was feeling it before in your new airplane.
Where most people would have a farmer here, inside, I use a strip of carbon fiber about that wide, where that farmer would go.
Run it around the.
Yeah, and dope it in. Now the first one I tried it with, I hot stuffed it in, and I got a bump. When the things dried out. But if you dope it in, let's say you'd normally have a farmer here, here, and here, put them inside there. That's it.
Well, sure, it's a beautiful airplane. I've watched it fly, and again, that's why one of the reasons I redesigned my Genesis for this coming year, or if I decide to fly this year, is after watching this airplane perform in the wind, and see how much groove you have and how much corner you have and how flat the airplane turns. I know another part of that flat turning is this flat stab too. It seems to really lock on target a lot better than the airfoil stabs that I've been using. So that's another change I've made. After watching your airplane and Paul Walker's airplane in particular, I've decided to make that change. I know that you're also covering the flaps, like you mentioned, with the carbon veil, and I think it makes them so rigid that you're getting a lot more effect out of less movement in the flap.
Yeah, the flaps are double covered too.
They're double
Top
covered.
And bottom, yeah. And then after you get it pretty smooth, you know, a couple, 3, 4 coats of clear on there, and you're ready for color. So it saves a lot of time.
Wow, it looks great. Bob, I know in the last couple of years you've been experimenting with a new type of fuselage construction. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the top and the bottom are molded. I start out with a solid block and shape it just like I want, and then I mold 1/16 around. And we talked earlier about how where there would normally be a we put the carbon fiber in here. The same thing in here. Okay. Now, back in this section of the fuselage, there's no farmers.
No formers at all?
None.
Well, what's the construction inside there?
Sticks.
Just like a
yeah, where you would normally have a farmer, you would run say a 1/8" square vertical piece on both sides, and then an 1/8" square across.
So it'd be just like a stick.
Where you would normally have a farmer. Then, when you get things locked up, you get your controls in, you make X's like Warren Truss in there on the sides and across the top and the bottom.
Again with the 1/8" sticks?
Right, with the 1/8" sticks. And that gives you more rigidity. I also cut out back here. That's, I don't know, a lot of people don't, but I make the cutouts like the old Noblers were. And I use less wood for those 1/8" sticks than I cut out here. And I've got a lot more rigidity.
And because of this, I know I'm going to let a little bit of a cat out of the bag. you've been able to extend the moment arm, you feel, just a little bit.
Right, a little longer.
A little longer tail, because you get the tail lighter.
Right, right.
And that's only going to make it stabilize better and be a smoother.
Well, it should keep things smoother back here and more rigid.
You bet.
Of course, you can control that rigidity by the density and the weight of the wood, but by using really soft, light fuselage sides, then you can rigid this up without much weight expense.
What size is it that this airplane have? What size wing does this airplane have?
56.
56-inch wing. How many square inches approximately? 650, 660, someplace?
650.
All right. And how much did this airplane weigh with a 51 in it?
49 and a half.
49 and a half ounces.
Ready to go.
And with a 60, that's going to be pretty awesome.
I hope so. Because a 60, I don't know what it weighs, right, almost the same as a 51.
Same as a 51,
Within
yeah.
grams, I think.
Right.
Fuel consumption is about the same. The power is much more. It should be an interesting year.
What size prop are you swinging on the 61 now on your test bed?
Right now I'm running around 12 and a quarter in length, about a 3.8 pitch.
And that's a 2 or 3 blade?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. I've had a 13 on there, but evidently it didn't have the right pitch on it because it didn't work too good. But that's, you know, I haven't flown it that much. But I like the 3 blade, the 12 and a quarter with the 3.8 pitch.
Are you using metal tanks in your airplane
No,
still?
I use plastic tanks.
Using the plastic clunk?
Right, they're a lot lighter. One thing about the 61, you can slow it down, put it more deeper into a 4-cycle, particularly with a 3 blade, and it sounds good, and it's putting it out. It's stroking the power.
Well, it's a nice combination, and I'm hoping I can get my new airplane at the same size, anywhere near this weight. This is just can't believe how light this airplane is when you pick it up. But without the engine in it, it feels like there's nothing there. So we're jealous.
Well, it was a challenge. The new one is not going to be 49 and a half ounces. That's one of those things, you know, you got to do. I heard that the Chinese, not the last world champions, but the other world champions built 50-ounce airplanes.
48 and 50-ounce airplanes, yeah.
So I decided I can do that.
Yeah, well, you've
So
shown it. You've proven it.
Yeah. I don't know that that's particularly, you know, when we're talking 1 or 2 ounces difference, I don't know. And we're going up to from a 51 to a 61. I don't know. I know back in the old days with the 35, they could be too light.
You certainly had your interesting problems with Fox 35s back in the old days. I remember you working with engines with putting oil in there to get them started and things. And
yeah, those are the worn out ones. There was a lot of them. I think one of the main problems was back then, now we're running filters. And didn't have filters back then. And as much as I was flying, I was sucking dirt through those things, just destroying them.
Didn't you have an opportunity to go and get a number of parts from Duke and custom fit some Foxes for yourself?
Duke treated me real well. Yeah. In fact, made a couple trips up to Fort Smith and came back with many engines, many parts, which we needed. Because where we flew was on asphalt with very minute rocks and dust and dirt, and those things were sitting practically on the ground, and keeping pistons and sleeves in them were almost impossible. But when you got a good one, you had a good one.
And those were the years that you won.
Yeah, those haven't won since.
Well, maybe you can change that here coming up. Bob, looking back over your long career in stunt flying, there's been a lot of ups and downs in your career, and personally and in flying. And what would you say was the happiest moment of your flying career?
There's been a lot of happy ones. It's hard to pick one. Probably winning the Nationals in 1966 and again in 1979. I don't know if that was greater than, I don't know. The World Championships was pretty good.
Well, I know that in 1979 when you won the Nationals, most of the time when you win the Nationals you inscribe your name on the Walker Trophy, and in that year you inscribed another name on the Walker Trophy.
Yeah, Anna Mays.
Anna Mae was your wife, and I know that she was tragically lost in an accident, and I know that really...
I didn't give her enough credit when she was alive. I feel sorry about that. And I thought, that's the least I can do for you. And I did it.
And that said it all when you put her name on there in double size, and, that was a real class move.
Well, I hope people don't object to that.
Not at all, not at all. Well,
winning the world in '74 was tremendous. That year I had my son, my oldest boy, Joe. He was my pit man, my coach, my gopher, and he and I won the world championship. That's a pretty good feeling, too.
You bet. You bet. I remember in 1975 at the Nationals, I was out on the field practicing and wiping my airplane off, and you were just starting up on a practice flight. And the airplane rolled a little ways, and I heard the prop hit the ground. And then all of a sudden the airplane lifted off and made some wild gyrations and hit the ground again. And I think the tail broke off at that time. You had picked the handle up upside down accidentally. We all have done that, but you did it at a Nationals. And I remember, was it Joey at that time or was it Max with you? Joe. Joey ran across the field and said, "I'll shut it off, Pa, I'll kill it." And he reached down and shoved the spinner into the ground, and the nose broke off. And I remember what you said distinctly. You said, "I think you killed it a mite too much, Joe."
Oh, my. You would remember that.
Oh, yeah. But you went on to let's move this over here just a second. So we can get a better look at it here. There you go.
That whole mess that day was because I had never practiced with a safety thong.
Mm-hmm. And you never knew which way.
And at the first flight with the safety thong, I said, "You better do it before you go official." And I picked the handle up upside down with that thong.
Well, yeah, but there was a happy ending to that story because you went on and won the Nationals that year.
Yeah.
And the fellow who took second also had a problem at that Nationals. Les McDonald was practicing, and his downline broke.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a series of very tight inside loops, and the airplane pancaked on the pavement and broke the stabilizer and squashed the gear down. And this was even before appearance points. And Les went ahead to repair the airplane, and I think he took second in appearance that year with a damaged airplane, and went on to just miss that year.
Right.
And you two have had a lot of battles over the year.
Yeah.
You and Billy and Les, all three of you had a number of battles.
We've had a lot of fun over the years.
You bet.
You've been in there a couple times, too.
A couple of times, but I missed out on most of those battles.
Fortunately, my accident was after appearance judging. Because, as I remember, it was the outboard wing was covered with clear monocoat or fiberglass or something. It looked terrible, but it flew good.
Yeah. That was pretty exciting that year. Bob, the airplanes we've been flying now over the last 30 years, maybe even close to 40 years, really haven't changed significantly in their general layout. There's been a lot of subtle changes, like you use these wingtips here. I know these little bat wingtips. I know you feel that they improve the flow at the wingtips some. And you use the twin rudders, and of course the motors have changed a lot. Do you see anywhere we can go with the airplane now, in your opinion, that would dramatically improve the performance, or are we fairly close to optimizing this layout?
I think the biggest change over the last couple of years has been the motor situation. Designs seem to come and go. I don't know how much further we can go with the design.
Mm-hmm.
If we can go, I'm sure we can go further. It'll take some sharp young kid with an aeronautical degree or something, like maybe Paul Walker has done in the last couple of years with his airplane.
Mm-hmm.
People keep messing around with these things, and they're going to come up with some good. I don't know that we can go a whole lot farther. The main thing that, and Randy has done an excellent job, is the motor. And I think you're going to see a lot more good flying at the Nats this year on account of the 61 on the pipe.
Especially in windy conditions.
Right. I think the combination of the pipe And then it was followed up shortly thereafter with Randy's motor. It's probably been the biggest thing. Now, I will say this. You may want to cut this. But if the weather is really good, you don't necessarily need a pipe.
That's true, yeah.
Bob Barron showed that to us this last year.
Yeah, he certainly did. He really...
I mean, his flights in the good weather, boy, were they good.
He's always been consistent. He's had good shapes and bottoms, and he flew an outstanding pattern this past year to win it. And
now,
of course,
I'm not saying everybody needs a pipe, because he shows not everybody does.
That's right.
But I think the pipes had the advantage when the wind came up later in the day.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
the pipes, a lot of people say they're scared of the pipes because they're difficult. Not anymore. When I first started, they were a bear. But now it's automatic. People around here are flying the pipe. They're calling me up and telling me what to do. I tell them over the phone. They go out and they fly it, and it works. Now you can't hardly beat that.
That's the truth. And now, of course, with the new composite materials we're finding, and the ability to go to thinner and thinner balsa woods and still maintain the structural integrity with carbon, and maybe as we find some more gains in weight reduction, and a few more gains in using this 61 and learning how to extract all the power it has, capable of producing, and we'll be able to optimize this layout just a little bit more yet.
Oh yeah, that's what I say. We'll keep messing around with this stuff, and we'll make it better. I don't think we're going to make any huge moves, like say George and the Nobler. That was a big step right there. I don't know that we're going to make any more big steps like that, but we're going to continue to refine things, and they're going to get better. Yeah, the lighter, the more we can learn how to make them light, and the more power we can extract from the motors. And there's a lot of prop work coming up. Well, I think we're just cracking that one. And who knows what we'll find on the other side of that page.
That's for sure. Over the years, there's been two names that keep coming up together when stunt is discussed in hotel rooms at nationals and all the bull sessions. And that's your special relationship with Bill Werwich. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Billy and I go back quite a ways. And I don't know, I guess we admired each other's flying from back in the 60s. And I've always felt, if I can't win the Nats, I want Billy to win. That's how close we've been.
Well, I know in the Worlds, and I guess it was 70, or was it 72, when you guys were sweating out. It was a really close contest. There's another famous picture of you guys sweating it out there together, and hoping each of you would win, but not really going to be too upset when the other won, I guess.
Right, right. That was 70 in Belgium. We were both sweating each other's scores out on that last round, and I think that time we probably came pretty close together there. I made a big mistake. The night before that round, we all went to eat, and I made a remark to Bill. I said, well, this is your first time over. You shouldn't expect to win. And he went out and won it the next day. That's all it took, that little bit of fire set underneath him, and away he went.
It doesn't take much with that guy.
No. And also, I guess I go to him with problems more than anybody else. Because he's been there before.
He certainly puts in more time, I think, than almost any other flyer I've ever met. He's had the opportunities with his job situation being a musician to go out and fly during the day, but even other people who have the opportunity to go out and fly don't fly anywhere near as much as he does, and consequently it's not just flying, but it's also development work he's done. And he's been real good about sharing it with all of us. All you have to do is call him up, and he'll tell you exactly what's working and what's not, and I really admire him for that. I know
actually, the person who got me on Billy was his dad. I believe it was the 60 nationals in Dallas. I wanted to fly in it, but I didn't think I was flying good enough to fly in a national. So I didn't. I went down and talked with a notebook, and I talked to his dad, And his dad gave me he was the nicest man in the world. And of course Billy helped too, but he was busy, so I didn't bother him, so I pestered his dad. And Mr. Werwidge was a real gentleman. And he helped me a lot.
Yeah, I know Billy really misses him.
If that daddy is that good, that boy's got to be worth something. And he was.
Well, I know that Bill, as do I, kind of consider you our second daddy. You know, the bear is kind of our second dad. And
well,
there's been an awful lot of times through my career when I was forlorn there out on the field and feeling kind of lost, and there was the bear in every case to help me out.
That's one nice thing about this hobby. You can help other people out. And I remember when you were struggling, and there's been other people too, but a lot of them fell by the wayside, and you just kept on coming. So that makes you feel like you did some good.
Well, it was a lot of fun flying against you guys, and usually it was chasing you guys. It was very few times I was tugging you along. I remember that.
I remember several times, particularly in 1978 when we were chasing you.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough times as far as I'm concerned. See what we can do about that in the future. Right. Well, I'm looking forward, Bear, to flying against you again and watching you fly your new airplane. We're going to keep that under wraps, I know, until Nationals time here. But let me tell you, folks, it's a beauty, and it has a lot of really neat innovation in it. Bob, thank you very much for having us here in your home.
Well, thank you for coming down and visiting.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed myself down here. Texas hospitality is great. Jim Young and Mike Scott, and you took me out to dinner tonight, and I really had a great time talking stunt with you guys and hanging out.
We need to get you to come down more often.
Well, that can be arranged. Thanks a lot, Bear.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby who?